And we're live. This is going to be episode 4 with Inactive Listening.
Mm-hmm.
Your hosts, Logan.
And Walter.
That's right. We're going to try something a little bit unique here.
Mm-hmm.
Unorthodox, you might say.
Totally new in the world of podcasting.
Yep.
A new innovation.
So, since we can't quite figure out the dual microphone setup, actually, that's incorrect. We know what we have to do. It's like $100 roadblock, I think, to fix it. So we're gonna wait a little while, until we start our internships. Which, if you were here for episode 3, you would have heard that. But it's gonna be like we're trying 2 separate things. I'm on my laptop with my microphone. He's on his with his microphone. So we're gonna try this. We're gonna conjoin the audio, see how that works. Because
lots of post-production involved on this episode.
For you guys. This is all for you, so.
Just for you guys.
I went to a concert.
Yes. How was the concert?
It was good. I went to a 4-day festival. So it was 4 days. Music started from like 11:30.
Yep.
And did it like 11 o'clock at night. So.
Whoa.
So okay.
Every day? All 4 days?
Yes. Which you could go at any point.
Sure.
Once you were in, you had to stay there.
Was there food?
There was. It was expensive though.
Was it good?
It was. I don't know. It was pretty good for the price. No, it was not good. But,
that's fair.
But we stayed at a hotel. My uncle and I went. So last episode, Walter went to West Virginia, and that was like the highlight.
Yeah.
North Carolina. So, and I went to Ohio. Columbus, Ohio, for Sonic Temple Rock Festival. I went there last year because originally I was going to go to my girlfriend invited me to go to a Taylor Swift concert. And yeah, so I went to that. But I didn't want that to be my first concert, so we went on a 4-day...
a good mission to have.
Yes.
Yeah.
We went on a 4-day rock festival. Saw a lot of really good bands last year. Like, Chevelle, Rob Zombie, a lot of rock. Kiss was there,
wow.
Which was really cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were all members there?
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, I think there definitely was like some stage help or production help. It was a good show, and that was a headliner. But Tool was good. That was another headliner. Avenged Sevenfold. So, yeah, that was really good. Oh, and then Foo Fighters was the ending night.
Can't forget about them.
Yep.
Did they play Everlong?
They did at the very end.
Did they play Learn to Fly?
Probably. It was a year ago. I don't remember. This year, though, a lot of interesting stuff. A lot of interesting people. It's probably half the experience of seeing just a lot of very weird people. Like you would there's some people you would expect to be there, and some people you would not at all.
Really?
Yep. So,
what was the most surprising thing you saw someone wear?
Oh, I mean, some people are just almost like pretty much naked. Pretty much.
Wow. In Columbus, Ohio?
Yes. People dressed goth.
Was it in a field, or what did the venue look like?
It was actually, there is a Major League Soccer stadium. So it was there. In
the middle of it.
The main temple, the temple stage, the main, not the main temple, but the main stage, that's where it was in the stadium. And then outside the stadium, they set up different stages. It had different bands going at different times. Sometimes you would get overlap, which is annoying. This band is playing and this other band that you like is also playing, so you kind of have to decide. And
yeah,
a lot of really weird people. A lot of people who, I shouldn't say weird. A lot of unique people.
Sure.
You would expect probably.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of people who just looked very casual.
Yeah. Were there any families?
Oh yeah, there was several. So a lot of people there was a good group of people who would set up campers or RVs there,
Yeah.
and they camp there or in a tent. They camp there all 4 days. That was interesting. That's, I don't know, something that we've grown to. That we just know that that happens. We drive from the hotel there.
Yeah.
Um,
So were you seated on the field?
we sat in the bleachers.
Okay. How far up the stadium did people go?
Okay, so you can buy two different things. You can either have like the floor
Uh-huh.
or just like the normies, like me. We were just up in the bleachers, so we could actually sit down the whole time.
Yeah.
Some people will go all the way to the top. The Where you want to be is more central, I think. You can actually feel the music that way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. It always is. It is tiring by the last day. Like, I'm excited to come home.
Mm-hmm.
So it ended Sunday night at like probably 10:30. Slipknot, that's who we saw. That was really
Wow.
good. I got to see a lot of good bands. Mudvayne, um, Flyleaf, Evanescence. A lot of like it was a rock concert. So, the Misfits were there. I didn't see them because I don't listen to them. They were there. They're old. Another band that I listened to was playing at the same time, which was not the headliner, which was Avatar. So I listened to them. But yeah, a lot of really good. I mean, Disturbed was there, which was really good. What else? Stained, Seether.
Did Disturbed do the Sounds of Silence?
Yes, they
Okay.
did.
Yeah. Well, like obviously Simon Garfunkel did,
Right.
but then they did the famous
Right.
cover. Okay.
They did play that. They were one of the headliners. Slipknot was, the Misfits were, and there's one more, and I can't remember.
Must not have been that good.
Right before Slipknot was Limp Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit.
That was incredible. That was a really good show.
Mm-hmm.
Breaking Benjamin was that day. I really liked them. A lot of really good bands. It was really fun.
What is Limp Bizkit's most famous song? Most popular
Probably
song?
Breaks.
What?
I don't know.
Then what is your favorite like lyric you heard in the whole festival? A singer was on stage and you heard something and you're like, wow, that was gospel, brother.
I don't know. I don't listen. A lot of the songs I knew. So
Right. Did Evanescence play Wake Me Up?
yeah, they played that. It was good. There was a lot of bands there. I'm just blanking for some reason. But yeah, I don't know. It was really good. Limp Bizkit he got like the entire, he was not a headliner, but he got the entire group jumping, which is really cool.
Yeah.
It's just one of those days. You know that song?
I don't, but that sounds like a bar.
Yeah.
That
it
sounds
was.
like a
Where you don't want to wake up. Yeah, it's a good song. I think it's Break Stuff. I don't remember. Yeah, it's Break Stuff.
Okay, Logan, let me ask you something. Have you ever built a trebuchet before? Are you aware of what a trebuchet is?
It's very familiar. I don't remember.
So, in medieval times, like, knights and castles and knights sieging castles.
Oh, that medieval time. Okay.
Yeah. You know what a catapult is?
Yes. Oh, yes.
So a trebuchet is very similar to a catapult,
Right.
but it was built out in the field, and it uses a very heavy counterweight to
Right.
flick a
Okay.
Rock or boulder,
Right.
insert object of destruction here at a castle wall to break the castle wall, right? Now, at an engineering school filled with nerds, many people do know what a trebuchet is and also have a hankering to build one. So at I'm part of a club called ASME, the American Society of Mechanical Engineers. And for this club, every year there's a event that we like to put on, or they like to put on, and we all voted on this year, which was a watermelon trebuchet competition.
Okay.
The rules were simple. Everyone goes out to this field we have on campus, and you have 2 hours to build and 1 hour to test your trebuchet. And they supply you all the materials. All you can bring is power tools, should you desire to bring them. We get out there, right? My team is excited, We don't really have a plan, but that's okay because we're going to win anyway, Get out to our spot. It's the last lot. So we're walking all the way down across the field past the other teams who've already started and are making a lot of progress to our spot. We look at the supplies, realize we don't know what we're doing. Panic sets in. Now, mind you, this competition is for a very special prize. One near and dear to my heart, and that, of course, is Legos.
Ooh.
The prizes together are $250. There's a team of 4. Whoever wins, the Lego sets are split up against them. There's 4 Lego sets. And, there's 3 cars, like a Mustang and a Ferrari, and like that style of Technic-ish Lego sets.
Okay.
But the 4th prize that one team member gets is a John Deere combine tractor.
Ooh.
And I was getting that tractor. I was determined. So we start building, right? A trebuchet is very simple in design, especially what we were doing. You have supports, 2 supports, a rod that the lever arm can rotate around, the lever arm, a counterweight on one end, and then the chute or the bag that holds the object you're trying to flick, right?
Okay.
And we were given everything, right? We were given this aluminum pipe to be our rotational beam. Frankly, a lot of wood to work with.
No instructions.
No instructions.
Okay.
And a watermelon, a tarp, some rope, and a bucket for the counterweight. We were under the assumption that they would give us all the same counterweight too, because then, it'd be a fair competition, right? Like
who can build the best?
Who can build the best, as opposed to who has the heaviest counterweight, which is like a very crucial factor of trebuchet. The heavier the counterweight is, the more force there is to flick it. Upon realizing this, that there was no standardization amongst the counterweights, I had an idea. I knew that near this field is a creek filled with sand and water. And sand and water are both some of the most dense and heaviest materials around, right? All these fools and other teams are running over to the gravel pile. Oh yeah, let's grab some rocks. Oh yeah, I thought rocks are heavy. Yeah, right. The gravel has so much air in the mixture because the rocks don't sit flush, right? Whereas sand, the particles are so fine that you can fit more material per size or relative to size in the same amount of space. So I start booking it. I entrust my team with the trebuchet. I start booking it to the creek. Everyone else is like, "Where's this guy going? He's running away from the competition."
He's scared.
I waddle down this hill. It's a very steep hill.
How far away is the creek from?
Maybe a football field and a half away.
Ooh, okay.
So I run over there, and this creek runs through all of campus, and it really is like a steep ditch. The creek's at the bottom of this ditch, and there are many bridges built to go over it. Right? You're not meant to go in this creek. Right? It smells bad. It's gross. I go in this creek anyway because I know that this counterweight could be the main thing that can pull us ahead. Right? I go down the embankment, covered in poison ivy, covered in vines and leaves and loose rocks. Almost break my neck going down. Sit on the side of the, where the sand is. It's a sandbar. Take off my shoes, take off my socks, roll up my pants, wade into the creek. Feels pretty nice. It's a very hot day, and it's very quiet, very peaceful. Not too many bugs. Have my bucket, and I just start scooping with my hands. I go crazy. I go buck wild. I'm a scooping machine. I left my phone up on the bridge because I didn't want to risk it getting wet,
Right.
And at a certain point, mid scooping, a group of people walk by, and they're like, "Oh, it looks like someone left their phone." And I just shout, "No, it's mine!" And they're like, "What? like I definitely freaked him out a lot, and I didn't know. Like I couldn't explain. Like, hey, why are you in the creek? Because I went looking for some sand for the watermelon trebuchet competition, and they definitely thought it was weird. Whatever. I cannot get distracted. I have a job to do.
Right.
I keep scooping. Uh, it takes me a good 10 minutes with just my hands to scoop this sand in this 5 gallon bucket. But I do it, right? Mission accomplished. I have wet sand. It's very heavy. Uh, get over to the side of the creek, and I'm like, well, crap. Now I gotta climb out of here. The incline must have been
An exact 90.
at least 45 degrees.
Oh.
But 45 degrees of like rough terrain. I would bet you it's like 50 or 55 degrees.
Okay.
And put on my shoes and socks while my feet are still wet. And I basically, through some miracle, like find a rock I trust, put the bucket on there, step up. So now bucket and both my feet are on this rock. Find another rock, step up, blah blah blah. Definitely almost broke my neck twice. But I did it. I'm proud of myself. I did it, and my team was working hard on the trebuchet. Right. I crawl out from the kind of woodland area, make my way back to the field. It is slow going. It is much slower with this heavy bucket than when it was without it. I finally get in view of the field, right? And one of my teammates, who just so happens to be Eric from the North Carolina story, sees me and waves at me, and I can tell he's mad. Where have I been? It's been 20, 25 minutes. We're on the clock. By the time we actually got everything started and I journeyed off to find the bucket, it was an hour and a half into the competition. We only have 2 hours to build, remember? So we're coming up on the testing phase. So he sees me, runs over, we both grab the bucket, and we start moving as fast as we can. We pass everybody, right? We're the last one. Looks at our bucket and like, what do they have? Like, what is that? And I know we have the edge, right? No one else put in the effort and risked their lives like I did to get this sandy bucket. We get back to the plot of land, right? The trebuchet is not how I thought it'd look. It is leaning over. It is not stable at all. In order to keep it upright, people are holding it up, and they're like, it's just gonna have to work. This is how we're gonna have to deal with it. We're running out of time. And I'm like, guys, this isn't a trebuchet. Like it's just a bunch of wood tacked together, right? None of us brought power tools. All we had at our disposal was nails. So it's kind of like,
And no hammers.
We found a hammer.
Oh.
We found a hammer and a handsaw, like an old carpenter's saw. I start doing it once over, and they're like, we just need to put on the weight and test it. I'm like, guys, it's not gonna work. Look around. The reason why it was tipping over, it was leaning, was because the supports they put in were held in place by one nail. I don't know if you can visualize this,
Right.
but a singular nail, is a smooth cylinder. And unlike a screw, there's no teeth or lip or any sort of mechanical method of grabbing the material, right?
Just pinning it.
It's just pinning it. So if you have one nail pinning two pieces of wood together, then that wood is free to rotate.
Right.
So the reason why it was tipping was because with the one nail, it was just rotating, right? Like it wasn't actually attached. It was just like slipping all about, go wherever I wanted. So I grab a bunch of nails in my hand. I start bang, 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 bang. Really, all you need is 2 nails in each connection point, right? But I have like 3 or 4, and I'm getting all these angles, and because like we're on the clock. I'm done. It leans a little bit, but now it works. It's a trebuchet, right? We have the rod going through the beams. We end up nailing through the hole we have to make it tighter. So like there's a tolerance from the hole in the wood and the hole of the rod. In order to make sure the rod doesn't slip, we like pinch it, we wedge it in between. So like 2 innovations, right? We're doing great. Now in the testing phase, we lose the tools, right? We have to tie this tarp to the lever arm, right? This is finicky. this is the hardest part of what a trebuchet is, right? Because how do you make sure that at the apex of the lever arms travel, it releases it, right? Because like otherwise the bag just rotates all around and doesn't launch it, you know. So we're on our phones looking it up. There's a way you can tie the tarp together so that the bottom part is like a cup and the top part is like a it looks like a seashell.
Okay.
Like the traditional image of a clam seashell, how the tail of the shell, the hinge is like tighter, whereas the scoop kind of opens up at top.
Yeah.
So that way when it reaches the top, it kind of just naturally falls out. There's no flick involved. There's no weird thing. It just, through the motion, it just slides out. We're looking good. At this point, 2 groups have just tapped out. Their trebuchet fell apart, and they're gone, right? So the numbers are already dwindling. There were 20 at the start. We were number 20. Now at least we're 18, you know? Now we got to tie on the counterweight. We had pre-drilled or pre-screwed in a screw. One of those like eye hooks they screw into material. Yep. And we put it at the bottom of the beam. You know, there's a couple surfaces you can do at the bottom, the front, the top, or the sides. But at the bottom, it takes 2 guys to lift up the counterweight, hook it on there. The screw immediately rips out. The counterweight's too heavy. And they're like, oh, we gotta lose some weight. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. This is all we have. Like, there were definitely teams that had a plan, that have carpentry experience, that know how this is supposed to work, and have a better looking trebuchet, right? But we have this heavy weight. This is all we have. So instead of putting it from the bottom, we put it in from the front, which would work in our favor because instead of just like being ripped straight out,
right,
it would twist. It would have some sort of torsion, and the moment of the screw is locked in place. That was a bunch of engineering lingo that I didn't use correctly, by the way, but it sounded cool, right? So this eye hook holds the screws in place, right? The counterweight's on. Once we do hook the counterweight on, by the way, the whole thing like just groans. Like the wood creaks, and you can just hear the aluminum beam like wanting to bend, but because of the nails we had locking it in place, it doesn't. And we kind of stand back and we're like, oh my god, we have a trebuchet, you know, like this could work. We call over the judge. The way to win this competition is just to launch a watermelon as far as you can, right? We call him over, and he says, oh, no one told you yet? No one can fling a full watermelon because it's too heavy. Cut yours in half. So we do, right? And we're like ecstatic. We're like, oh my gosh, no one can even fling a watermelon? Like, ours is so heavy, and we have half a watermelon now. We can do this, right? So we cut it, we get it set back up again. We pull up to the line. The field at this point is now littered with watermelons, right? We call over the judge again. And he asks us if we're ready.
Have you guys tested it at this point?
We have tested it with a basketball.
Okay.
Which was allowed during the construction phase.
Okay.
But remember, that was with a very shoddy trebuchet before it was like sealed shut. Not sealed shut. Before it was like really hammered down. Sure, that works.
Okay.
And the basketball is lighter, much lighter, and it's a sphere. Half a watermelon is not a sphere, right? Half a watermelon has an edge that could get caught on the tarp more easily, right? So that was kind of worrying, right? Our basketball went pretty far. It didn't go the furthest, but it went pretty far. So if we could just get this watermelon to go where we want to go, then there's a shot. Like it was definitely in reach, right? And we all knew this. Okay, 4 people. My job and another teammate's job was to stand on either side of the trebuchet, holding it upright, making sure it doesn't wobble too much to skew off the shot. Eric's job was to hold the lever arm down, like he's pushing it, and he'll be the guy that releases it so that the counterweight, the gravity effects counterweight, whole thing works. Our fourth teammate was back by where the tarp's at, laying it out so it's already in tension,
Okay.
so it doesn't get like caught up in itself.
Right.
And the judge asks us if we're ready to go. And we say yes. I'm sweating bullets. First of all, because it's hot. It is a hot day, and we're wearing long pants because of safety,
Okay.
I poured my blood, sweat, and tears into this. Not really tears. You know what I mean. When we hooked up the counterweight, we noticed that there were little tiny red worms in the bucket, which means that there were either some sort of leech or bug or parasite in the creek that I was wading in barefoot. So I put my body at risk,
Right. Okay.
and there's no more stalling, right? We got to go. I'm holding the trebuchet. He says 3, 2, 1, launch, and Eric releases the lever arm. I can't watch, right? So I don't watch the thing go. I'm looking out the field. I can tell that it launched. I heard the tarp like flutter and flap, right? And I knew that we had gotten some air. And I'm looking out the field. And there's just nothing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no way. Are we going to win this? And Eric just screams, heads up! And I run away. I bolt. I don't know what's happening. And right next to where I was standing, the half the watermelon lands splat. It went straight up in the air and landed maybe 2 inches from the base of the trebuchet. And I'm like, dang, what happened? I thought we really had something. It turns out, in all the excitement, Eric's foot caught on the rope of the tarp. And as it was being launched up, there was a snag, which meant that watermelon skipped or, something went wrong.
Okay.
And it went straight up in the air. Who's to say? I don't think that if, Eric hadn't made that mistake, if we would have won. In fact, I know we wouldn't have won. There were some really far launches and a lot of smart engineers there that day. But
So that was it.
that was it.
That was just one. What about the other half of the watermelon?
We ate it.
Oh.
It was really good.
You ate it afterwards?
Mm-hmm.
After the sorrow.
After the sorrow, the John Deere combine was mine no more.
Was it a big? Did you guys see who won, or did you guys leave?
And I really like the team that won. The team that won did a great job. They're on the cross team, great guys. Okay. For the people listening, you can't see my hands as I gestured how big the set was, but it was like fully built. It was like a foot long. Yep. Like that kind of scale. People who build Legos kind of can picture how big the John Deere was.
Mm. And you liked it.
Yeah, very much so. And I was proud to be a part of that club. I was part of the team that brainstormed possible ideas.
Oh, okay.
And
I thought this was just like a field day.
Nope.
You guys come on out and try it.
Anybody who wanted to sign up could. And we had 20 teams, which is 80 people.
And this was like a planned.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. I hope to God they manage to do it next year. I know safety was a big concern because it always is. You can't have events like that if you're not having some sort of safety precaution. So
what happened afterwards?
After
did they just all get beaten down?
Yep. Yeah. So the teams were asked to disassemble it, which was a lot of fun. Because at this point the wood was trashed. From how many nails there were, and the stress of the counterweight and flinging the watermelon. So a lot of fun to destroy, and then they threw it all away.
Well,
quite fun.
Interesting.
Part of the other ideas I was thinking of would have been, of course, the two classics, the egg drop or like a paper airplane competition.
Yeah.
But I also threw out there a spud gun competition.
Okay.
A potato cannon.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is it involves pressurized air, which is very dangerous in the wrong circumstances. And also very time consuming because you have to... It's either very time consuming or very expensive because you have one air compressor that takes forever to prime a group's cannon, or you have multiple, which is very expensive.
What about flammable? Because I know of some that you can make with tubing,
mm-hmm.
and then you have like a little, like you can unscrew the back and spray like hairspray, and then close it, and then have like a grill ignition, where you press a button and then it will spark on the inside, igniting the hairspray, shooting the spud out.
That is fascinating, and I would love to make one of those myself, but I don't think any organization at any school would allow the use of an open flame, much less
It's not open. It's closed. It's inside the tubes. You're just putting. I mean, you're not putting like gasoline in there.
Yeah, but you still are giving it literal firepower.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll tell them that. I'll bring it up. Those
Okay.
guys, ASME is pretty cool. I think they'd listen to it at least, but I doubt it would get proved. It was such a cool event. It was exactly what I expected an engineering school to be like. The 20th lot, looking down at all 19 other groups, and it's just a line of engineers working on a medieval weapon to launch a fruit.
I mean, that's
for
pretty...
Legos. Like that's exactly what I wanted,
Yeah.
It was a good day.
What was this on like a Saturday? Was this just like
week 8, I think. Week 9
of spring?
of the spring quarter, yeah. So everyone was stressed out, and it was just a good way to
And then and then is week 10, that's finals week? Or week 9 and 10?
Week 11. So the school doesn't consider finals week a week because there are no classes. Like once you take your final, you're done.
You just go into the class.
So there are people that leave on Monday. Okay. No, like it's scheduled. So like for example, this quarter I had a Calc 3 final at 1 p.m. on Tuesday, and a programming final at 8 a.m. on Friday, or 8 a.m. on Thursday.
Is it like AP testing where you're going to be in a special room?
No.
Or do you just go back?
AP tests are great, and I really appreciated them in high school, but for a true college institution, it's not. Yes, the tests are standardized within the college, but it's up to the professor still. Like it's the professor's classes. They proctor it, So like on the final, a lot of professors allow you to listen to music. You can bring headphones in the final. Some finals are open note depending on the class. And that's not to say it's easy. By no means is it easy. It's just different, Usually the classes that allow you to have open note are pretty tricky because they know that's the only way you can pass is to look at your notes because it's that hard. Yeah.
This is interesting. Or maybe this is just how it is at...
That is very possible. I have a very skewed outlook on college life,
I think it'll be interesting because I'm going to be going to a much more popular...
Yeah.
So, okay.
And also, like, just a big school.
Right.
Purdue is a city.
Yeah.
Purdue is its own...
So, I was going to ask that. Whenever we went to the visit, we have, like... I don't know. You can walk downtown, and everything is just revolved around the college. There's
West
stores,
Lafayette is really just Purdue. Like,
right.
I think there is a downtown West Lafayette, but like...
There's a Target there that is minuscule, and it is just focused towards college stuff.
There is a downtown, and there's like pubs there, I think, but like that's just it. Like it's pubs. It's like catered toward a college drinking.
So is that
experience?
So is that not the case there?
It would take me 15 minutes max to walk across campus, whereas from one end of Purdue to the other end, I would bet you would take at least an hour.
Really?
I think so.
And Walter's tall, so For a normal person, it'd probably be like
especially if you count the airport. Like Purdue has an airport
this is news to me.
that students bus out to. So like,
And do what?
fly planes.
And then what? Oh, because it is an aeronautical.
Yeah. Or their piloting license.
They fly home every day.
No.
Fly back to Dubai, and then the next one.
What? I don't know how many people from Dubai go to Purdue. I'm not gonna lie.
I think there's a lot. There is some foreign.
No, I'm sure.
Good.
Yeah, I know.
But
Purdue is. We're pretty lucky to be born in the state that Purdue's in.
Right.
Which that statement is kind of scary to say, but it's true. Like every other college institution uses the Purdue OWL, the online writing lab.
Yeah.
Every high school uses it because it's just that good. Uses their service called the CATME, which I forget what it stands for, but it's a way of assessing your teammates. It's a collaboration assessment thing. So I had to fill that out a couple of times. I was evaluated by my teammates. Yeah, Purdue's a force to be reckoned with.
That's right, boy.
Yeah, but you're a Boilermaker, bro.
Well, I don't care. They can stick any name on it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in and out.
Purdue Fort Wayne are the Mastodons.
Really?
Yeah, I love that. That is so cool.
And then Purdue Northwest is
The Lions.
Yeah, that's right. Which is interesting. I kind of thought it'd all just be the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're different colleges, I know that, but you could just have the same college in different locations. But I guess not. Very interesting.
I think it's cool.
There was something I was gonna say, but I don't remember. I almost had a goose on the way here.
Yeah?
Yep. There's a bunch of geese.
Bastard had it coming.
And they kind of slowed down. So then I started going, and then he just took off right in front of me. I narrowly missed him. I was kind of like swerved off the road, tried chasing him.
Mm-hmm.
He's fast, man.
Mm-hmm.
Swerved back on the road. Yeah, it was interesting. Right before I came here to get a record in. So.
Okay, folks.
Yeah,
I think that was
we're gonna
our.
wrap that up.
I mean, we called it a Blitz episode, but
It was
it kind of just evolved into a regular one.
a very quick question, and then the talk about the concert, and then the talk.
I'm gonna edit that question out, bro.
Why? No, we're gonna keep it in.
Okay.
We're gonna keep it in.
Okay.
You know what? You know why? Because I'm actually gonna ask another one right now.
To call back to it.
Towards you.
Okay.
What is your favorite gluten-free food? Because you're gluten-free. Like
Favorite.
a freak.
Favorite
Just
gluten-free
kidding.
food.
Yeah.
Gluten-free Oreos are the closest replica of like regular food, and I have that
Regular food or regular Oreos?
regular Oreos. Sorry,
Oh.
I have that on good authority that a lot of people think it tastes the exact same.
You wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know. I think my favorite gluten-free food is birthday cake. Specifically, I believe it's called King Arthur's birthday cake or King Arthur's cake mix. It is so good. It is so moist and like, I don't know, everything about a cake, every buzzword like moist, sweet or sugary or not too sweet, blah blah blah. The texture is great.
Umami.
Yeah, yeah, people say umami about a cake all the time. Oh my god, can you imagine an umami cake, bro?
I would eat that.
What would it taste like? Don't say umami.
No. Because umami is just like meats or...
Yeah. A meat cake. Ooh.
There you go.
Mm.
I don't like meat that much.
But yeah, King Arthur's cake mix, I think is better than normal cake.
Okay, when did you start going on your gluten-free rampage?
2nd grade.
because it made you feel sick.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I think cutting back on eating gluten in general is supposed to make you feel better in general.
Yeah.
But I can't testify to that.
It's hard, man. No one's got the guts these days.
Yeah, you're one to talk.
Okay, bud. For all my Pokemon Go players out there listening, a Blacephalon raid just appeared at the local park.
Right now?
Right now. So I think that's what our future entails.
Yep, that's where our journey will continue.
Yep.
So.
Don't worry, guys. If anything cool happens, you'll hear about it right here.
Yep.
On Inactive Listening.
That's right. Thanks for sticking around for this episode. And we will see you guys in the next episode.